Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Sarat Chandra IAS Academy. Today we'll be talking about one optional subject, which is the most popular optional subject called as anthropology. Before we enter the subject anthropology per se, let me take you through the journey of how to select the optional subject primarily. What are the myths and realities associated with selection of optional subject concerned with most of the candidates, and then why should you go for optional subject anthropology at all if at all you have a big question. And then if you have decided, just stay tuned for the next few minutes and we'll take you through the journey of anthropology here. Yes, to start with, let me introduce anthropology in the most simple or lucid manner as given by Alfred Louis Kroeber, the noted scholar here, called as what? Anthropology is the most scientific of all humanities and most humanistic of all sciences here. So do not consider that I'm not giving you introduction as I said earlier, and directly I'm jumping into the definitions here. This is just one part of the introduction of anthropology, so that you can have some idea what exactly is this we are going to talk about primarily. Yes, please remember, sciences and humanities are two different groups of disciplines across the globe. We can divide most of the subjects into sciences are empirical and humanities are non-empirical primarily here, and then anthropology is a very balanced amalgamation of both sciences and humanities. And Alfred L. Kroeber defines anthropology in a beautiful and sophisticated manner here. As you can see, it's a science of humanities, anthropology. We'll talk more about it eventually. So before we go, as I said earlier, what is that here? Myths, or why you should select anthropology primarily. And even before that, let's talk about few elements here, that is in the form of what are the cautions to be observed or taken before you embark on the journey of selecting any optional for that matter. So please remember the basic stuff here, basic elements. Number one is what? Your academic background. If it coincides with, overlaps with, or is in tune with the optional subject, you can select that optional subject, by the way. So you need to have a primary academic background. Even if you don't have it, the most important thing, what is, you must have heard about this through many sources here, that you have to have undying and relentless interest in that particular optional subject here. What is that here? That is never dying interest, so that the subject should never be felt as or assumed as monotonous. If you have undying interest in the subject, you can definitely choose that subject here. And the third factor to be considered before choosing any optional for that matter is the availability of materials, mentor and other sources required for your preparation here. So material and mentor, it's simply called as M and M. Material availability and mentorship availability here. So we have these things. On top of it, if you are looking at that optional, which in the recent past has scored very well, and many candidates have got into these services through this particular optional. Please understand this. So you have to observe the recent trends as well. Recent trends. So these are the factors to be considered before you choose any optional which has got immense amount of weightage among all other subjects in the mains exam, that is 500 marks. Please remember, your performance, that is your choice of optional, your score in that optional subject can make or break the deal, that is can make you be present in the interview list or may bring you back home. So take a very cautious and wise step in choosing your optional primarily. Please remember, not all optionals are equally scoring in nature. Different optionals have different scoring potential. Yes, I understand what I am saying, and there is nothing called as a bad optional. Optional is as good as you. Please remember this point forever. There is nothing called as a bad optional. Optional is as good as you and what you make out of it. And please remember, not all optionals are equally scoring in nature. In some optional subjects, scoring 250 may be very decent enough, and some optionals will let you score nearly 280 to 300 marks, and some optionals will give you a scope of scoring little over 300, that is 310, 320, 330, even 340 or 350. And anthropology falls into that category of optionals which will give you the leverage of scoring in excess of 300 marks barrier. We call this 300 mark barrier as a golden barrier in civil service mains examination, because anything scored above 300 in the optional subject will take you for sure to the interview process. You would understand eventually when we talk more about them. Yes. So consider these factors before choosing an optional. Next, if at all there is any question of finalizing anthropology optional, what are the myths and reality check we have to conduct before we embark on the journey of learning about anthropology here? Yes. Okay. Great. So just a kind of icebreaker here. So why anthropology? So I would request you to carry the syllabus copy in your hand now and have a look at this syllabus copy here. We have approximately 54 chapters all in all in both papers of anthropology. We have approximately 54 different units or chapters or topics or discussions we need to have. Yes. So please remember, it is neither less nor more when compared with other optional subjects here. So it is a moderate amount of syllabus. It cannot be said as less amount of or quantity of syllabus, or it cannot be judged as a syllabus or kind of optional having more amount of syllabus here. So it is optimal amount of syllabus. Next is what? Easy to study or difficult. Please remember, anthropology is all about humans, that is you and me. That is you and your family and your people around you, and whatever is happening between you, your family and people around you on day-to-day basis, and with little emphasis on what happened in the past concerned with your ancestors and what is happening concerned with you, and how past and present concerned with you are related to each other. So this is a kind of introspection or self-study. Please understand this, and nothing should be more interesting to you more than knowing about yourself. So in that way, it should be little interesting to you to study about your own self here. So please remember, it should be relatively easy for you to know about and study about yourself. Next is, please understand, this is $1 million question candidates have been asking for the past many generations. Yeah, please understand, a mentor can add value to your preparation and your performance in the examination, and ultimately to the outcome of your examination. Yeah. So even the little bit of value a mentor can add can definitely make or break the deal. In such scenarios, the value addition made by the mentor can be commendable. So it is completely individual choice and subjective in nature. With due respect to your choices, we move on to the next point here. Quick completion or time consuming. Please remember that in general, we need 100 sessions. Classroom discussions can be both online and offline or separately as well. Each session in general would vary from 2 to 2.5 hours here, depends on the institution and other factors. So we need approximately 100 sessions to complete the syllabus, and in terms of time frame, we might require approximately 16 weeks of time. 16 weeks of time would be the approximate time duration which is required to complete the classroom discussion about UPSC optional subject anthropology. And if you want to make a self-preparation, it should consume almost similar time frame, that is around approximately 4 months time frame here. That includes note making and your videos and your doubt clearance and previous year questions answering, and all these elements including. So it would require approximately 16 weeks or 100 sessions in general. So that should be a decent amount of time to invest for a 500 mark subject. Next, static or dynamic. Please remember, static means the kind of less amount of subjectivity. That is, though question remains same, answers change if there is high amount of subjectivity. That is, this is quite normal for those subjects which have high amount of dynamism. And anthropology has got minimum amount of dynamism or less amount of subjectivity here, and more amount of objectivity or static nature. That means the question and answers do not change over a period of time as in when the exam changes. Please understand that majority part of the syllabus and questions would be static. That is, they do not change on a regular basis here, and your answers also need to be static here. Well, it depends on the topic, it depends on the concept here, where if you can add few dynamic elements, that would be a value addition though, but not all concepts or topics would require a kind of dynamism or an addition or amalgamation with that of contemporary developments. So majority part, approximately 3/4 of the syllabus is static, and only 1/4 of the syllabus is dynamic or subjective in nature. Less subjectivity and better would be that optional. Whenever you are choosing any optional, look for the amount of subjectivity that optional subject is carrying. Lesser the subjectivity, better that optional is for you to score and remain on top performance basis here. Next is interesting or boring. So what is this interesting or boring here? Yes. So please remember that as much as my experience goes, that in the last 9 years, so I've seen no person getting bored of anthropology syllabus concept the UPSC option subject here, because it's all about you and how we establish a connect between past and present here. It's all about humans, and it should be relatively and decently interesting to you here. Please remember, with due respect to your individual choices, try to evaluate whether you have interest in this subject or not before jumping on to the learning process of anthropology here. Yes. And then next is success rate is lower or higher. When you observe in the recent past, you can say that approximately 9 to 10 years, you can say results, majority number of candidates who have chosen anthropology got into services, and the success percentage is slightly in excess of 10%. Which is one of the highest among all other optionals, barring literature related subjects here. Yes, one of the high selection ratios are concerned with anthropology optional subject here, more than 10%. So that makes this optional subject relatively helpful for your success here. Next, useful for GS or not. So general studies overlapping is approximately 20 to 30% here. That means most of the topics present in the syllabus of anthropology have considerable amount of overlapping with general studies. For example, when you take the biological anthropology, that has got overlap with the science part of it, and then that is GS3. And then when you talk about social and cultural aspects, you have GS1 come into picture, and GS2 social issues come into picture, and tribal issues are also come into picture here, concerned with the paper 2 of anthropology. And Indian Society of paper 2 of anthropology also directly has got ramifications in general essay, GS2 and GS4, that is ethics paper as well. So many general studies subjects and optional anthropology have similarities, and there is considerable amount of overlap between optional subject anthropology and general studies subjects here. Next is scoring or not. Please remember, not all optionals are equally scoring in nature. Yes, and anthropology has been consistently recording the scores in excess of 300 marks. That means when you take average marks of all candidates who have appeared in a particular year and take an average marks, they are in excess of 300 marks, which is an appropriate method of calculating whether an optional subject scoring is decent enough or helping the candidates enough or not. So when 300 mark golden barrier is reached by any optional, you can confidently choose that optional, and anthropology stands number 1 in that list. So definitely anthropology is a very scoring optional subject here. So next we'll move on to and have a look at, if you want to quantify how to look at this optional subjects performance, so we can give some numbers to you in the form of what? Static syllabus. 80% of the syllabus, that is why I said carry the syllabus copy with you now. So 80% of the syllabus is objective in nature, that is static in nature, and only 20% of the syllabus is subjective or dynamic in nature. So 80% static, 80% chances that you can score better. Next is only 20% you have to update yourself with contemporary developments and change the answers in every question paper, though question remains the same. So next is what? General studies overlap. Around 30% of the syllabus has got direct overlapping with the general studies subjects in the civil service exam mains. Next is what? Repetitivity of questions here. Please remember, approximately 40% of the questions in general either directly or indirectly related to the previous questions. Please remember that always we say this concerned with any subject in the civil service mains examination, and more so for optional subject, that you have to keep an eye on previous year questions and try to solve them whenever you get sufficient amount of time. And with that attempt, you can understand that 40% of the questions have high degree of repetitivity, either directly or indirectly. So this is quantification or anthropology through some basic numbers. Next would be about what? What is our strategy? How are we going to make this anthropology helpful for your process of getting selected into the service? So have a look at these things. Please remember. So number 1 is what? A clear description of subject matter here. A clear description of subject matter. We cover all components, all concepts, and all basic or fundamental elements of the syllabus here. Please remember, syllabus is the most important copy or the handout or material or notes or book you can carry all the time with you, and we completely stick to this syllabus. Next is what? Concept building. We believe that there is a 3-pronged approach towards civil service exam preparation. What is this 3-pronged approach? First step is what? The basic concepts, or we call them as fundamentals, or the bottom of the iceberg. Please remember, bottom, the body, and the tip of the iceberg. You must have studied about this here. What is visible to the outside is only tip of the iceberg, and what remains invisible and what contributes more to the iceberg would be what is not visible, that is underwater here. Yes, basic concepts would form the bottom or base of the iceberg of civil service exam preparation. And then the second one is what? The application. That means, how do you apply these fundamental concepts or basic concepts to whatever is happening around you, and how you have to perceive the society around you or your life in a more meaningful manner here. Second step of your preparation is application of basic concepts, and third step in your preparation is integrating all the basic concepts and applied aspects with that of contemporary developments here. Contemporary. So these are the 3 steps which are mandatory for civil service exam preparation to be in a comprehensive manner. Yes, so please understand this, that is the basis why we focus more on concept building. Along with the concept building, we also focus on vocabulary building. Please remember, what you write is what matters and what reaches the examiner, and choose your words cautiously. And it's a choice. Please understand this. Your life is a choice, and your answer, the words you choose, are also a choice. And you use better words, you can impress the examiner better, and you may get maybe half or 1 mark extra from that of others, and that makes a huge difference at the end of it. Yes. Next is what? Current affairs interlinking. Current affairs is a popular word used in general in the preparation of civil service examination for contemporary developments. Yeah, that is we have to integrate, we have to amalgamate, seamlessly interlink the basic concepts, applied aspects with that of contemporary developments in anthropology, and we'll be doing it on day-to-day basis. Next is what? A complete support and supply of PowerPoint presentations, slides, videos, or audio clippings, or pictures, or any kind of committees or commissions and their reports on behalf of Government of India or any other agency for that matter, and all PDFs which are suitable and useful to you would be supplemented with your preparation. Here we'll be giving all of you to the all of these things to you directly. Next is, each and every session would be interactive in nature. That means you talk to the teaching faculty here, and teaching faculty would talk to you, and you can clarify your questions and doubts, and then you can express your perspectives or opinions, and you can just enrich your intellect in the class. So that is the meaning of interactive sessions here, and we'll be doing it on daily basis. Next is what? Real-time case studies. What do you mean by real-time case studies here? Which are different from the case studies which are present in your books. Real-time means, of course, recent, realistic, not hypothetical, realistic, recent, or contemporary in nature, and which would be unique from the top whatever which are published in the books already. So that is real-time case studies. Please remember, not all topics, not all concepts, not all chapters require a case study example or support. Seldom you will get an exclusive question on case study. So case study is an elaborate example given to a particular concept or topic which may be necessary in certain situations and which may not be necessary in certain concepts. Next is what? Guidance to notes making. Please remember that your own handwritten notes by yourself will be the best strategy and the best possible source for quick revision and better understanding about your preparation. Please understand that the most successful candidates in the past are those who have made their own notes in a painstaking manner right from the day one till they got recommended to service. And please observe this, that your own notes can be the best guide and book for your quick revision before the examination. And we will be giving you all the tips and tricks to make your own notes right from day one till you complete your preparation. And with complete hand-holding, we'll ensure that you will make your own notes concerned with this optional subject, anthropology. Next is what? Regular answer writing and feedback. Please remember that answer writing practice must begin right from day one. Do not wait for that auspicious day and time to start answer writing, or do not wait for the completion of the syllabus so that you can start your preparation. Answer writing must begin right from day one of your classes. Yes. So we would evaluate your answers and give you feedback and how to make changes and where to make changes here, and ensure that you have this room of improvement completely utilized by yourself through regular daily answer writing practice. Next is what? Comprehensive test series. Myself, I give you 14 different tests, 14 different question papers. 10 are concerned with the sectional or unit-wise or chapter-wise tests here. 10 different sectional tests and 4 comprehensive tests. So all in all, 14 different question papers and tests would be given to you along with the classroom discussions. As and when we complete few chapters, we'll be giving you a question paper concerned with those chapters, and we'll be evaluating them. And likewise, we'll be improvising your performance on a regular basis, and by the time we complete our classes, you'll be completing along with the classes your preparation, your answer writing, and test series as well. So that's how we complete in a comprehensive manner your preparation of the anthropology subject here. Next is personalized mentorship. We'll always be here to assist you, guide you, and help you out so that you can definitely trust us in your preparation and start your journey towards civil service mains exam preparation here. So these are some basic strategies we follow here on behalf of the institution so that you can start your preparation along with us. Next is what? How do we understand what exactly is anthropology? And please remember that almost all terminologies, that is the words, vocabulary we use across most of the humanities and scientific disciplines, they owe their origins to Greek and Latin languages here. And when we say Greek and Latin languages, the philosopher who will be remembered forever would be Aristotle. So naturally, father of anthropology would be your Aristotle here. And Aristotle's perspective about anthropology is little simple. and it's all about gossip about man. Please remember, anthropology as viewed by Aristotle is a gossip. Aristotle says anthropology is gossip about man, and anthropologist is a gossiper. So look at how simple and scholarly it is, the definition of anthropology here. And basic concept about anthropology is what here? In Greek and Latin here, what is anthropos? Anthropos means what? Man. I request all of you to make one small change across your resources. Whenever you come across the term man in anthropology, conveniently change it to human or mankind. Please remember, it is human or it is mankind. Without any conflict, with due respect to all genders and all biological sexes across the globe. So man here contextually means human or mankind. It includes all human beings who are present now and who lived in the past under one heading of man here. Yes. So anthropos means man. Man here means human or mankind. Ology or logos means studying with a reason or logic. So that is a scientific study. So scientific study of man is anthropology. That is the simplest way of understanding anthropology primarily here. So what do we study in anthropology here, and what is our perspective? Please remember, UPSC Civil Service Examination anthropology is all about scholars and their perspectives about humans of the past and present. Please remember, study of humans across time and space is also anthropology. What is across time and across space here? So we have something called as temporal and spatial. So study about man across time and space. So temporal means across time frame, that is of the past and present, and spatial means space. Space means place. Place means region or area. Of different regions on the earth, we study about humans concerned with the past and present here. So what else we discuss about the anthropology here? Anthropology is all about perspectives and dimensions. Yeah, you must have heard about that a multi-dimensional, multi-perspective study of humans, which is called as holistic approach of humans, is called as anthropology. Please remember, your answers also need to be multidimensional and multi-perspective in nature. What do you mean by multi-dimensional, multi-perspective here? Having multiple points of view about humans. What do you mean by multiple points of views here? You can see that scientific study. That means a scientific view is one dimension. Please understand. What is scientific view here? Empirical, that is evidence-based, which can be proved on demand. For example, look for archaeology. Yeah, archaeology looks for evidences concerned with the past human life, how they lived, what kind of tools or instruments they might have used, and what kind of homes or houses they might have lived in, what kind of political, economic or religious setups they lived in. So all these we look through the lens of archaeology, and archaeology is evidence-based science. So that is how, that is just one dimension to it. Yeah. Yes, scientific dimension about what? About origin. Origin, that is how humans started appearing on the earth for the first time, and were we created or did we transform from something else? Please understand that this transformatory changes which might have taken place has got a name in anthropology called as what? Evolution. So we talk about evolutionary aspects concerned with humans in the past. Yes. Next would be about what? Behavioral aspects of humans. Please remember, you must have heard about a term called as psychology. What is psychology here? Psychology is about the scientific study of behavior of humans. So there is one more dimension to it. So we have added one more dimension. What is that? Behavioral or psychological dimension to it. So we study about humans through behaviors. So behavioral dimension. Next is what? Physical dimension. What is physical here? Form, morphological, anatomical, that is how head, skull appear, how nose and eyes and skin color appear, and why there are differences or variations between people. What is the reason for this? And stature, musculature, density of bones, All these fingerprints and all these things are different from one person to another person, and the hair and all these things are different. Why people are different from each other? What is the reason behind it? And how do we identify people or humans based on the way they appear? So this becomes a physical dimension of understanding humans. Next is what? Social dimension. What is social here? Groups of humans. You don't see any human living alone throughout one's life. You always see humans living in groups. Please remember, just group of people do not constitute a society. Then what constitutes a society is meaningful relationships between those people concerned with multiple aspects of their lives. So whenever there is an interaction, whenever there is a relationship between group of people, they can be called as a society. So this is another dimension here to understand about humans. So group dimension, we call it as social dimension to understand humans. Next is what? Cultural dimension. What is culture here? Design for life. That means the way of life of group of people is called as culture. What is culture here? How you dress, how you talk, what you talk, what kind of meaning you associate the things around you, and what kind of values you have, what kind of knowledge, wisdom, art, architecture, literature you have around you, and what kind of food you eat, and how do you earn your living, what is your lifestyle, what kind of clothing you wear, and then how do you treat fellow humans, in what manner, and how do you see birth, how do you see death, and what is your perspective about the happenings around the world or in the sky, and do you have a belief in supernatural? So all these aspects cumulatively can be called as your culture or your unique way of life or design for living. So we have added one more dimension to it. It is called as cultural dimension. So multi-dimensional, multi-perspective study of humans is anthropology. So this is a brief introduction about anthropology, and next we'll be talking about what is our syllabus and how do we understand our syllabus for our convenience here. So please understand, we have two papers, paper 1 and paper 2, and for our convenience we can divide paper 1 into 2 parts and paper 2 into 2 parts, and we have just jotted everything together so that you can understand them better. So paper 1, part 1 is in front of you. It is divided into 7 subheadings. What are those 7 here? Number 1 is what? Introduction or introductory chapters. Introductory chapters will include what? Definition, meaning, scope, branches, and relationship between anthropology and multiple other disciplines here. Next is what? Basic concepts. Please understand that essential elements concerned with anthropology lie in these basics. What is society? What is culture? What are social institutions here? And then associations, groups, and civilization. What is civilization primarily? So we'll be focusing on these vocabulary or terminology here, which forms a part of basic concepts. Third is what? Very important element of paper 1, that is social institutions. We have marriage, family, kinship, we have economic, political, religious organization, and culture, language, and communication. All these chapters would form part of institutions. Yeah, yes. Next would be about what? Culture and thought. That is chapter number 6 of paper 1. Many seniors would express their skepticism about this chapter here. They assume that this is the most complex or complicated and very important or crucial chapter to understand anthropology. Please remember, all chapters are equally important. Do not over glorify one particular chapter for the sake of the subject. Yeah, if you do not understand, invest more time in it. It becomes easy for you. Yes. Thinkers, we have some scholars, approximately 25 different scholars we have, and we study about 11 schools of thought here. That means their perspectives here through some case studies. We will be studying about 11 schools of thought through the lens of 25 different scholars, and we call them as thinkers. And these schools of thoughts are called as theories. So theories and scholars, or thoughts and thinkers, or thinkers and thoughts. You can call anyways here. That is one important part of paper 1, part 1 here. Next is what? How we developed the present way of life. Do you think our ancestors in the past also had a similar lifestyle or way of life? Were they different? Did they have a different way of life? Did they have a different types of tools and techniques used by them to lead a normal life? And if they were different, why were they different? Are they different or are we different? And what happened in between? So this can be answered by one topic called as what? Cultural evolution. Few thousands of years ago, our ancestors used to use stone-based tools. Now you use your mobile phone, so which is not a stone tool. So there is a change, and this change which occurred over a period of time is called as evolution, and we call this as cultural evolution. Across time and space, we study cultural evolution, a very important topic in paper 1. Next is language and communication. Please remember, in anthropology, we define language as a vehicle of culture, or a medium through which culture gets transmitted from one society to another, from one generation of people to another generation of people, or for that matter, from one person to another person. Next is what? A brief introduction about research methods. Don't worry, you don't have to become a researcher. You don't have to do research on anything. You don't have to submit your thesis on any topic. Don't worry about it. We'll try to keep it as simple as possible. And we have few methods, techniques and methodologies. So we'll be introducing them, and few basic methods of data collection. We'll be focusing on them, and we'll be confining very much to only syllabus. So this is something called as part 1 of paper 1. Next is what? Part 2 of paper 2 here, which is popularly known as what? Your physical anthropology or biological anthropology here. So when you look at all these physical or biological anthropology concepts, we can just concise it to 9 different subheadings of part 2 of paper 1. So what are they here? Biological evolution or organic evolution we call, wherein you study theories of evolution, that is Lamarckism, Darwinism, Mendelism. So we have a lot of other theories of evolution here. You must have studied all these things in your school. This is a kind of revision we'll be doing here with some basic examples here. Next is what? Our ancestors who were not like us, who were slightly different, and we call them as primates, and we are also primates, but slightly different types of primates. So who are these primates? What are they? How are they? What happened to few of them, and what happened to the rest of them? We'll be studying about primates, and we call this as primatology. Next is what? Fossils. What are fossils here? Remnants of past life forms. That's all, nothing else. That means when you dig the earth's crust, you get some bones, some teeth, some hair, some bodies, some skeletal remains, and we call them as fossils. And we study about our fossils through the lens of archaeology. And we'll be including archaeological studies here in the part 2 of paper 1. Next is what? About studying about humans from inside out. What is inside out? In every cell of your body, there are some kind of microscopic structures which determine, which define, and which are responsible for whatever you are outside. So we call these factors as genes, and the study of your internal constitution is genetics. So we'll be studying about genetics here in little detail. Don't worry about it. You'll not become a specialist, and we'll be knowing whatever is necessary for you just for the purpose of this exam. That's all. Next is about diseases and why they occur in certain societies and how they spread and how would they impact the transformation or changes occurring in different groups of people across the globe. We call this as epidemiology. Epi means what? Upon. Dem means population. It's all about the origin, occurrence, prevalence, spreading, and impact of some diseases on human populations across the globe. Next is what? Race. You must have seen some people have different skin color, some people have light or fair skin color, some people have dark skin color, some people have small eyes, some people have flat nose, some people have broad nose, some people's hair is black, some people's hair is yellow, some people's hair is blonde. Some are short, some are tall. So these physical variations give rise to a concept called as race, and we'll be talking about that race here through the lens of biological anthropology here. Next is what? The physical growth and development. Please remember, your life starts as a single cell called as zygote in the uterus of your mother's body, And so you were once part of your mother's body, and who have grown and came out of your mother's body through a process called as parturition or childbirth process. And after which you started growing leaps and bounds, and you are whatever you are today. And to understand all these things, we have to study about growth and development. And there is certain limitation to growth and development, and we call this limitation to growth and development as old age, and we call it as senescence. And you die, and death is universal, death is natural. So we study about all those origin and ending of growth and development and various stages. We have prenatal, we have postnatal, and we have old age. We have a lot of stages. We'll be studying about them in detail. Next is, and different environmental conditions have different influences on human bodies across the time and space. We study about ecological adjustments or adaptations by humans here, and then applications of physical anthropology. That is how we study about humans and design defense equipment, workspaces, or clothing or footwear, and how we apply the biotechnology in understanding and identifying the individual's forensic application of anthropology. So we'll be studying about a lot of things here in the form of applications of physical anthropology. So this is the part 2 of paper 1 of anthropology here. Next would be the paper 2 part 1. What is that here? This is largely all about what? Your society. So we study about prehistory, and we study about Indian society, caste, and all these basic things here. And next we'll move on to the part 2 of paper 2, which talks about tribals. So tribal studies, tribal anthropology. So these are the basic elements we'll be focusing on in our preparation of Civil Service Mains Anthropology Optional. So please feel free to communicate with us, ask your questions, come down here, talk to us, and we'll be here and we'll be more than happy to answer your queries. And hope this introduction was of some use to you. And if you want to communicate with us, just call in the numbers or drop in at the institution or do messages and give your comments and feedback. Yes, and then now I wish you very good luck in your Civil Service Mains optional subject anthropology preparation. Thank you.